Hello, everyone. This is Rick with the Cyber Pro podcast. I'm super excited today to talk to Sam. Sam, let's just jump right into it. Question number one, who are you and what do you do?
Well, my name's Sam Bushell. I work for BAE Systems out at Hill Air Force Base. I'm a program manager for a Air Force Nuclear Weapons Center program. And I've been in the business for a little over 13 years now.
And you say the business, I mean, I know you're a contractor, but what does program management mean in this situation?
That's a good question. So we have, a collection of projects that we're executing to support our customers. I have to, work with my teams to ensure that we're on schedule, on budget, working to ensure capabilities for the warfighter. We work in IT and cyber domain, providing technical solutions as well as support services for different engineering functions of the DoD.
That's awesome. So you're not just cyber, you're IT, you're technology, you're everything that is nerd, which is good. I think that's what we love about this podcast. Why do you love being in this technology, cyber IT space?
Oh man, well, there's a lot to love about it, right? There's staying hip with current technology trends. There's making a difference for the Department of Defense. There's working with other industry partners. There's developing new technologies. There's working with old technologies, right? Legacy systems, modernizing, and then it's really about working with people from all aspects, all age ranges, as we come together to develop next generation products for the customer. So there's a lot going on, and yeah, each day is a new challenge, and we rise to it. So
Nice. And you're in a very interesting position, right? As a contractor, you work and really develop stuff for our government agencies, but you also work for a commercial enterprise, right? And that's kind of cool. And so my next question is I'm really interested to hear what your answer is. We talk about cybersecurity as a top concern, but what does it mean for you? And is it different in the two worlds that you sit in?
oh man, so cyber concerns kind of permeate all aspects of our life, right? So being in the industry, I kind of have an inside edge on things that folks that aren't experiencing it maybe in the contracting world or in the DoD world don't quite see it that way. We have an opportunity to leverage what we learn to kind of improve maybe cybersecurity posture of our own daily lives through the lessons we learn, and then we can kind of apply that to help the business understand, or maybe our customers understand things that they're not seeing necessarily. So we kind of have a multifaceted role in ensuring cyber compliance and cyber operations and resilient systems and things like that. So I'd say that there's a lot to that question.
There is. So let's jump in. What insight do you want to share with our community of cyber professionals and technology geeks and all the fun people that I've met so far?
Man, trying to share insight with other experts in the field is always tough, right? There's really the lifelong learning process of staying with relevant technologies and understanding how changing attack vectors can impact different systems at different levels. What I would say is that it really comes down to having kind of a holistic understanding of what the implications of the profession are, and then applying frameworks, putting together rules, and understanding how compliance affects everything that we do, and very specifically as a product owner or product manager for capabilities for the U.S. Air Force, I would say one of the main things is look at the long-term implications of technical debt. The idea of technical debt as a means to improve cyber operations over time, but being able to invest in the reduction of that technical debt, because standard frameworks don't really line up on the long-term implications of how systems adapt over time. We're kind of looking at mitigating short-term strategy, using a short-term strategy to mitigate immediate threats. Well, what are the long-term implications of our decisions, and how can we start, building a framework that allows us to be flexible to understand how that looks, 1, 5, 10 years down the road, because as we all know, everything changes all the time, and putting too rigid of a system in place can be detrimental. But we see that all the time, where that's the way we've always done it, is the death of the enterprise. And how can we move away from these silos of operations to more of a collaborative approach between our customers, government agencies, and then obviously the commercial enterprises that are there to meet the need or provide a service in that. So I'm not sure if that's too much insightful. It seems kind of obvious to me, but oftentimes the most obvious things sometimes get overlooked, right?
No, I will honestly tell you, Sam, the majority of what you said has actually not been stated in that way, shape, or form. And I think that's why we do this, right? The insights that people share, whether it's similar or not similar, the way they use the language is so different. And honestly, we've had nobody talk about the importance of tech debt and creating that solution that's not just fixing that short-term problem. So awesome. We love it. That's probably one of the better answers I've seen in a while. So thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Yeah, I was reading a Gartner article recently published about their application of combining two management frameworks for security and risk management, SRM. NIST 839 and ISO 27005, and they built a kind of a repeatable process that allows for the exploration of these different areas. And I found it real insightful that they did address technical debt in that framework, to talk about how through this iterative cycle, you can identify the implications of technical debt and how you could invest over time to start buying down risk or mitigating risk through different types of strategies. That it kind of opened my mind on, we're not just tackling the day-to-day, right? Firewall hardening and making sure that, we're looking at the objective cyber concerns and attack vectors. We're looking at the long-term business strategy and how that impacts our customers over time.
That's awesome. So Sam, the fun question for you, what's your favorite piece of retro technology that makes you smile?
So what makes me smile, right, is hi-fi, some retro hi-fi gear, Macintosh gear, classic, refurbished, obviously, in some regards, because the classics are they're meant to last, but we find them, in garage sales or holding up cabinet tables and things like that. And I've got a good friend who refurbishes those, so that's kind of a hobby piece. But a piece of retro technology I find fascinating is I was just recently reading about the Enigma machine, and putting cyber back into what is the purpose and how has it evolved over time, and just understanding that whole part of history is incredibly fascinating to me. So I've got a lot to learn, I realize.
Nice. Sam, it was epic having you on the podcast.
Hey, I appreciate it, Rick. Thanks for your time today, man. It was great to meet you.
You did it. You made it to the end. Thanks for watching the Cyber Pro podcast. Check us out for more content.